In this video, we'll be learning how to paint miniature terrain in a grimdark style, such as you see with the few terrain pieces on your screen now. First off, we're going to be priming the terrain piece in black. This is a simple rattle can primer. Next, we'll be taking a makeup brush or a dry brush, any kind of thin brush, scraggly brush, and we will be dry brushing white, any old white, over the terrain piece. You can see I'm going to be using my dry palette, which I've made just by putting some old paint on top of, well, the top of my wet palette really, and made my own dry palette. So you can see me, I'm gonna take some white, put it on here, and the idea is to have a damp dry brush, not a wet dry brush, but a damp one. So that's what I'm doing right now, is I'm dipping in some water and removing the majority of the water with paper towel. Then I'm gonna be taking my white paint here, then taking most of the paint off on the dry brush. Once most of the paint is off, we will be applying it to the model. Again, get a nice even coat over the entirety of the model. Should go on something like this. Very fast and easy. Again, we won't be bothering with any other paints for a base coat. This is primarily everything for a base coat that we need, apart from the effects, which we will do next. Just make sure you get in the entire model dry brushed, and this should take, I don't know, a minute, less than a minute. Now we have a fully dry brushed model here. Let's take a look at it. The next step is to add the rust. Now for rust, we're going to go with a dark rust, then a lighter rust, and then your lightest rust. Just oranges, really. The first fresh rust here, it's important to note this is an effects paint by Army Painters Fanatic line. So fresh rust has granular pieces inside of the paint that would give it a bit of texture. So we're going to be applying that first, and then the other Army Painter dry rust, and then the brightest orange over that. And again, the key for this is you really don't want to make it look like it was a purpose. You put it on with a paintbrush, you want it to look sporadic and natural, how rust would appear on metal. Then we're applying a second color here for the midtone. So again, everywhere where the rust is previously, and a little bit extras. You know, rust doesn't have a specific plan for where it goes, it's just rust, right? So it spreads everywhere. Applying it to everywhere that I applied the previous textured rust paint before. And I'll add, this method can be used for any terrain piece. This is a specific terrain piece from Star Wars Legion, a simple barricade. But again, this method can be rinsed and repeated for anything. And this will get it done very fast and easy. Very efficient way for a person with a little amount of skill to produce a high quality barricade. I think this is looking pretty good, and then we're going to move on to the final rust in just a second here. which is Lava Orange by, again, the Army Painter. Quantity wise, we're gonna just apply a little bit here and there, but you can really kind of stands out. You can really see the lightest rust over the medium, the mid-tone, I should say. And again, just dabbing it on with a dry brush, no particular pattern, just making it look a little random. Okay, I think that's looking pretty good for the effects. Now we have the base and we have the effects paint on. So this is basically it. Now what we need to do is give the model some definition, some contrast. And that's the following step after this, which we will be applying AK streak and grime to the entirety of the model, giving it much more definition. As you can see, what you're looking at here, it looks good, but it needs something else. It needs a little something. Before we apply the streak and grime, we will need to give it a quick coat of varnish. This is satin varnish. I recommend satin or gloss varnish. And here's the streak and grime. Getting the entirety of the model covered in streak and grime is important, getting into every little nook and cranny and all the recesses. Once you've left 15 to 20 minutes for the streak and grime to dry, you're going to take your mineral spirits and apply it all over the streak and grime. This is going to remove some of this, well, the majority of the streak and grime is going to get removed in this step. Apply it to everywhere, as you can see here. And then we're going to take a old rag, I used an old t-shirt here, and to wipe away the excess streak and grime. So that's what you can see here. We're gently patting the streak and grime. We don't want to remove any of the other paint. The varnish should have protected the paint at this point, but you don't want to rub any of the varnish off in the paint underneath. So be gentle at this point. You can have it come off. And then once all the excess is off, you should be left with a nice model that has some definition, contrast over your base. And within 20 to 30 minutes, you can get, I don't know, quite a few of these done. If you batch paint them, even faster. And here's the final model.